Wael Zweiter. On the 16th of October 1972, 38-year-old Wael Zweiter, a Palestinian-born intellectual working in Rome as a translator and cultural rep of the Palestine Liberation Organization, was gunned down in front of his apartment as he returned home from grocery shopping. He was shot 11 times. Although some say he was peaceful, living his life as a poor poet, the Mossad believed he was responsible and played a role in the attack against Israeli athletes at the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich. He was the first target of Operation Wrath of God, a campaign launched by the then Israeli Prime Minister, Golda Meir, to assassinate those suspected and confirmed to be responsible for the Munich massacre. Mahmoud Hamshari. On the morning of December 8, 1972, Mahmoud Hamshari, a representative of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, was hospitalized after suffering a near-fatal injury from an explosion caused by a bomb planted by Mossad in the telephone of his home office on Rue d'Alezia in Paris. He was suspected of being a member of Black September, a Palestinian militant group founded in 1970, known for its deadly attacks, most famously the Munich massacre during the 1972 Summer Olympics, where 11 Israeli athletes and officials were killed. He was also accused of trying to assassinate David Ben-Gurion, the then Prime Minister of Israel. Mahmoud survived the attack, but would die a month later due to the severity of his injuries. However, not before disclosing the details of the attack to the French authorities. Ghassan Kanafani. Ghassan was considered a leading novelist in his time, with his works translated into various languages. However, in addition to being a literary figure, he was also a militant. In 1967, he became the spokesperson for Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, PFLP, which, in the end, spelled his doom. On July 8, 1972, Ghassan was assassinated in Beirut, Lebanon, using a plastic bomb that had detonated as soon as he turned on the ignition to his Aston 1100. The Mossad accused him of being involved in the Lod Airport massacre, a terrorist attack where 3 members of the Japanese Red Army, acting on behalf of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, attacked the passenger terminal at Lod Airport near Tel Aviv, killing 26 people, including 17 Christian pilgrims from Puerto Rico and Israeli biophysicist Aharon Katzir, and injuring 80 others. Basil al-Kubaisi. Al-Kubaisi was an Iraqi-born law professor, notorious for his nationalist movements in Iraq, which earned him multiple stints in jail before he finally left Iraq and settled in Beirut, Lebanon. Shortly after, he became a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, working with the logistics part of the group. On April 6, 1973, near his hotel on Paris's Chauveau-Lagarde Street, al-Kubaisi was shot 9 times using a silenced Beretta pistol, and he died instantly. He was suspected of being involved in the Munich Olympic massacre. However, no direct connection was ever confirmed. Mohammed Youssef al-Najjar. Mohammed Youssef al-Najjar, better known as Abu Youssef, was a prominent Palestinian political leader, a senior member of Fatah, a Palestinian nationalist and social democratic political party, and a member of the PLO's executive committee. His leadership in the organization's international operations made him a top target in Israel. On April 10, 1973, during Operation Spring of Youth, Mossad commandos raided his Beirut apartment in a night assault. Abu Youssef was shot dead alongside his wife, while their young daughter witnessed the attack. Israel accused him of being one of the masterminds behind the 1972 Munich Olympic massacre. Kamal Adwan. Kamal Adwan was a senior Fatah leader and one of the PLO's key figures overseeing operations in the West Bank. Known for his organizational abilities, he was deeply involved in coordinating militant activities. On April 10, 1973, during Operation Spring of Youth, an operation conducted as part of Operation Wrath of God, Mossad forces stormed his Beirut residence in a swift, deadly assault. Adwan was killed in a burst of gunfire, with Israel alleging his involvement in planning multiple attacks against Israeli targets. Kamal Nasser. Kamal Nasser was a Palestinian poet, intellectual, and the PLO's spokesman, recognized for his eloquent defense of the Palestinian cause. A Christian from the West Bank and former Jordanian parliamentarian who was expelled for his activism. On April 10, 1973, he became the third target of Operation Spring of Youth. Just like Adwan, Mossad commandos entered his Beirut home and shot him at close range. Israel claimed he concealed militant activities behind his public role. His supporters mourned him as a diplomatic voice silenced by assassination. Ali Hassan Salameh, the Red Prince. Palestinian-born militant Ali Hassan Salameh was the son of Hassan Salameh, a wealthy Muslim sheikh who led resistance against the United Kingdom and the Jewish community. Nicknamed the Red Prince for his rather lavish lifestyle, Salameh was the mastermind behind Black September, responsible for the Munich massacre, the Khartoum embassy attacks, and several other attacks on Israelis. After several failed attempts by the Mossad to assassinate him, he was assassinated on January 22, 1979, as he left his wife's apartment in a convoy to attend his mother's birthday party in Beirut. Explosives placed by Mossad operatives in a car parked close to his apartment at Rue Madame Curie Street were detonated. The explosion critically injured, but did not kill Salameh. However, by 4:03 p.m. the same day, Salameh would die on the operating table. Mohamed Boudia. On June 28, 1973, in Paris, Mohamed Boudia, an Algerian and member of two militant groups, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine and Black September, was killed by a car bomb that was placed under his car seat. Boudia had previously worked as a playwright and the head of a theater in Algeria before he was forced to flee the country to France, where he joined the PFLP. He was popular for his disguises and womanizing and became a target on Mossad's list when revenge was declared on those responsible for the Munich massacre. Hussein al-Bashir. Born in Jordan, al-Bashir worked with the Fatah faction of the PLO and was popular for his ties with the Soviet Union's KGB. Additionally, he was believed to be the leader of Black September in Cyprus. Due to his suspected connection with Black September, Mossad set out to assassinate him. While he slept in his hotel room at the Olympic Hotel in Nicosia, Cyprus, on the night of January 24, 1973, a bomb hidden beneath his bed frame detonated, killing him instantly. Herbert Cukurs. Cukurs was a Latvian aviator and Nazi collaborator who served as the deputy commander of the RI's Commando, a collaborationist unit that carried out the largest mass murders of Latvian Jews during the Holocaust. Although he never stood trial, several Holocaust survivors accused him of war crimes, including burning Jews alive and assaulting Jewish women. Years later, in 1965, when Cukurs refused to stand trial for his crimes, he was lured away from Brazil, where he ran to after the war, to a remote suburb in Montevideo, Uruguay, under the pretense of starting an aviation business. He was shot and killed by Nazi-hunting Mossad agents, and his body was stuffed in a trunk. Ziad Muchasi. Following the assassination of Hussein al-Bashir, Ziad assumed leadership, becoming the primary contact person for the KGB and the representative of the PLO in Cyprus. Although he was not a target for Operation Wrath of God, he became one when Mossad's contacts hinted that he was much worse in his methods than al-Bashir ever was. On the night of April 11, 1973, as he was being dropped off at his apartment by his KGB and PLO associates, he was killed by the explosion of a grenade thrown into his room by a Mossad agent, after a bomb they had planted earlier failed to detonate. Ahmed Bouchiki, a tragic case of mistaken identity. Bouchiki, a Moroccan waiter who had no links to terrorism, was believed to be Ali Hassan Salameh, Black September's mastermind. On the evening of July 21, 1973, while Bouchiki was returning home from the movies with his pregnant wife, He was shot by Mossad operatives near a bus stop in the town of Lillehammer, Norway. This assassination led to arrests, scandal, and a diplomatic disaster. Zuhair Mohsen. Mohsen was the leader of the pro-Syria Assassinated faction of the Palestine Liberation Organization, also known as the PLO. He was known for being a pan-Arabist, and during the Lebanese Civil War in 1976, he was held responsible for the Damour massacre, where more than 500 Maronites were killed. On the 25th of July 1979, Mohsen was shot on the head as he left a casino in Cannes, France. He died on the spot. Although the attack was blamed on Mossad, Bergman, an Israeli investigative journalist, reported that the attack had been the work of a new Israeli combat union called the New Bayonet. Yahya el-Mossad. El-Mossad was an Egyptian physicist working for Saddam Hussein on Iraq's nuclear development. On June 14, 1980, he was found dead in his room at the Le Méridien Hotel in Paris. He had been beaten and stabbed to death. The French authorities suspected the Israeli Mossad was responsible. After his death, the Israeli government issued a statement hailing his death, claiming it had set back the Iraqi nuclear program, but denied being responsible. Mamoun Maraish. Maraish worked as a senior official for the Fatah faction of the PLO in Athens, as well as a shipping agent. On August 21, 1983, while Maraish was driving to his office, two Mossad operatives on a motorcycle shot and killed him. Other passengers in the car, including Maraish's young children, survived the attack. Khalid Nazal. Nazal was a prominent official of the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine and a militant leader within the PLO. He led the group that organized the Ma'alot massacre, a 1974 terrorist attack that saw 22 Israeli schoolchildren and 3 teachers killed following a 2-day hostage standoff, inadvertently making him a target for the Mossad. On June 9, 1986, Nazal was killed in Athens by Mossad agents who entered Greece with fake passports, shot Nazal as he was leaving his hotel, and fled the country. Gerald Bull. Bull, the only Canadian on the list, was an engineer developing a supergun for Saddam Hussein. This supergun was suspected of having the ability to launch a missile into Israel. On March 22, 1990, Bull was shot 5 times at point-blank range outside his apartment in Brussels. No suspects were ever charged, but the world pointed to Mossad. Atef Besaso. Besaso was the head of intelligence of the PLO and also a member of Black September. In June 1992, Besaso left his home in Tunis to travel to Europe for a series of appointments. His final destination in this short tour was France, where he had gone to advocate for better security for PLO members residing in the country, after which he was set to return to his family in Tunis. However, on the evening of June 8, 1992, as he returned from a dinner with 2 friends, he was attacked by 2 Mossad operatives outside his hotel at Rue du Commandant René Mouchot, and shot several times in the head at point-blank range. Fathi Shikaki. As the founder of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Shikaki was responsible for numerous bombings on the Israeli military. Having been convinced that the corrupt and secular governments of the Arab world had to be replaced by Islamic societies politically, socially, and culturally, Shikaki worked closely with Hezbollah and the Iranian Revolutionary Army under the protection of the then president of Syria, Hafez al-Assad. Shikaki was shot and killed in front of the Diplomat Hotel in Sliema, Malta, on October 26, 1995. He had briefly stopped over in Malta on his way home from Libya after meetings with Muammar Gaddafi. His death weakened the jihad movement in Palestine. Imad Mughniya. Known by his nom de guerre, Al-Hajj Radwan, Imad was Hezbollah's military mastermind. He was accused of attacks killing hundreds, including Americans, earning him a spot on the European Union's list of wanted terrorists. After multiple attempts to assassinate him, on the 12th of February 2008, Imad was killed when his Mitsubishi Pajero exploded as he left a party marking the 29th anniversary of the Iranian Revolution in the Kafr Souza neighborhood of Damascus. His spare tire had been replaced with a tire filled with explosives. Later reports revealed that a Mossad-CIA collaboration killed him. Mahmoud al-Mabou. On the 19th of January 2010, in Al Bustan Rotana Hotel in Dubai, having arrived in the country earlier that day from Syria, al-Mabu, a senior Hamas commander and arms trafficker, met his death. That evening, Mossad agents using forged passports and disguises hacked the electronic lock to his room, paralyzed, electrocuted, and suffocated him with a pillow. Although Israel denied being behind the attack, surveillance footage later exposed the operation to the world, which led to several arrests and diplomatic crises for Israel. Masoud Ali Mohammadi. Ali Mohammadi was an Iranian nuclear physicist and professor at Tehran University. On the morning of January 12, 2010, as he was leaving for the university, a motorbike rigged with explosives and parked near his car exploded, killing him instantly. Although there were no confirmed reasons for his assassination, it is alleged that he was one of the scientists involved in the Iranian nuclear program. A martial artist, Majid Jamali Fashi, was arrested as his killer and executed publicly. Before he was executed, Fashi confessed to having been recruited by the Mossad. Majid Shahriari. A uranium enrichment expert and a nuclear physicist, Shahriari was one of Iran's top scientists. He died in a car bomb attack on the 29th of November 2010 in Tehran, Iran. Assassins, alleged to be from Mossad, riding motorcycles, had attached a C4 bomb to his car door and detonated it from a distance. He was instantly killed, while another scientist traveling with him was severely injured. Dariush Rezai-Nejad. Rezai-Nejad was a brilliant PhD student of electrical engineering with no known involvement in terrorist activities. On the 23rd of July 2011, he was shot at close range in the presence of his family at his home in Tehran. A report later disclosed that his research on high-voltage switches could have made him a target, as these switches are considered an important part in the construction of nuclear warheads in atomic weapons. Iran blamed Mossad and the Mujahideen-e-Khalq. Hassan al-Aqis. Around midnight on the 3rd of December 2013, al-Aqis, Hezbollah's chief logistics officer and military commander in Lebanon, was shot in the head with a silenced gun by gunmen outside his home in the Hadath region, a suburb of the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Israel never took responsibility, and although a Lebanese militant group, Ahrar al-Sunna Baalbek Brigade, claimed responsibility for the attack, it is widely suspected that Mossad did it. Abdullah Ahmed Abdullah. Abdullah was known by many names, among which was his popular nom de guerre, Abu Muhammad al-Masri. He was one of the top leaders in al-Qaeda and mostly planned operations within the group. In November 2020, a report came out that Abdullah had been killed on the 7th of August that year. According to the report, he had been shot, along with his daughter, by two Mossad operatives riding on a motorcycle in the Pazdaran neighborhood of Tehran at the behest of the United States. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. Fakhrizadeh was the father of Iran's nuclear weapons program and a university professor at Imam Hussein University in Tehran, Iran. It was reported that he was on his way to see some of his students when he was killed. Fakhrizadeh was assassinated using an AI-controlled machine gun hidden in a truck parked along the road leading east out of Tehran to Absard, a route he regularly traveled. No agents were found within the vicinity of the attack, just a self-destructing AI-powered rifle. Did we miss anyone? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please like and subscribe.